Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited, pilots push back against Kissimmee landing fees. B-29 Doc-Superfortress in Abilene, Texas in April. AirVenture 2025 to spotlight flying for the greater good. Welcome to Airborne-Unlimited. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. Pilots push back against Kissimmee landing fees. After months of pushback from local pilots and aviation groups, the Kissimmee City Commission officially approved landing fees for Kissimmee Gateway Airport KISM on December 20th, 2024. The charges took effect on February 1st, 2025, requiring pilots to pay $3 per 1,000 pounds for fixed-wing aircraft and a flat $20 for helicopters. Despite overwhelming opposition from the pilot community, the Commission locked in a 3-year contract with Vector Airport Systems to handle billing at a 15% commission. Now pilots are mobilizing to fight back. A petition demanding that the FAA intervene against the use of ADS-B data for billing purposes is gaining traction, with supporters arguing that Vector's tracking methods pose safety and privacy concerns. A grassroots boycott of KISM is also in the works. Pilots are encouraging each other to avoid flying into the airport altogether, which could undermine the city's revenue expectations. If landings drop significantly, so will the anticipated $400,000 to $500,000 in annual income from the new fees. In addition, pilots attending Sun and Fun, one of the largest aviation gatherings in the country, are being asked to wear bright orange shirts as a visible protest against ADS-B-based billing. The goal is to raise awareness across the broader aviation community and show unified resistance to what many see as an unfair and short-sighted policy. After the break, call to action prompts immediate FAA safety steps.
Direct Fly USA proudly introduces the new Alto NG, a single-engine, 2-seat light sport aircraft for the North American market. This simple, all-metal aircraft design provides low-maintenance cost, easy, comfortable access, and responsive flight controls. Equipped with the Rotax 912 engine and a ballistic parachute, the Alto NG is reliable and safe. Learn more about the Alto NG at directflyusa.com.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Call to action prompts immediate FAA safety steps. On Thursday, March 6, 2025, senior leaders in the FAA met with over 24 leaders of aviation and labor organizations at its headquarters in Washington, D.C. to identify and discuss the key safety issues facing both the agency and pilots in an effort to make general and business aviation safer. What was billed as the General and Business Aviation Call to Action to identify concrete steps to address the recent safety incidents was held to bring together the FAA and the aviation organizations representing the vast majority of pilots, manufacturers, operators, and others. Captain Judy Cameron Scholarship recipients announced. Air Canada and CAE, in conjunction with the Northern Lights Aero Foundation, announced the 8 winners of the 2025 Captain Judy Cameron Scholarships, awarded to Canadian women pursuing careers as commercial pilots or aircraft maintenance engineers. The scholarship awards were established in honor of Captain Judy Cameron, the first female pilot at Air Canada. Salem Airport's community fights proposed runway shutdown. Salem Willamette Valley Airport managers have proposed shutting down their secondary runway instead of repairing it. Without federal funding backing it, the project would cost more than it would allegedly contribute. The city's main issue was that SLE's runway 1634, listed as the secondary runway, is not eligible for FAA funding under the AIP program. It also doesn't help that the airport began commercial air service in October 2023, bringing in new operating costs that it wasn't prepared to tackle. USAF officially designates GA-ASI's new uncrewed fighter. The U.S. Air Force has assigned an official name to General Atomics Aeronautical Systems Inc.'s Collaborative Combat Aircraft Prototype YFQ-42A. This designation comes after the Air Force selected GA-ASI in 2024 to develop the aircraft, making it part of an ongoing effort to integrate uncrewed systems into future combat operations. The naming follows standard Air Force conventions. The Y indicates that it's a production representative test aircraft, the F stands for fighter, and the Q marks it as an uncrewed system. That's it for today's Tripper on the Patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. B-29 Doc Superfortress in Abilene, Texas in April. The historic B-29 Superfortress dock will be in Abilene, Texas, and is available for booking flight experiences before and after the Wings Over West Texas Air Show at Dyess Air Force Base in Abilene. Dock will be open for ground and cockpit tours while at Dyess when not performing on April 18th through 20th. Flight experience rides will be flown out of Abilene Regional Airport before the show on April 16th and 17th, as well as April 21st after the show and before it departs for its next stop in Arizona. The iconic Superfortress will be a featured performer at the Wings Over West Texas show, where guests will be able to climb up into the aircraft to tour the interior, crew compartments, and cockpit when not flying. During World War II, 1,644 B-29 Superfortresses like Doc were built in Wichita, Kansas at the Boeing Company's plant. Doc rolled off the assembly line 81 years ago in 1944. It's one of only 2 remaining B-29s along with Fifi that are airworthy and flying at air shows around the country today. After these messages, AirVenture 2025 to spotlight flying for the greater good.
I'm currently using the Hartsell Talon, by far the best aerobatic propeller ever come out.
I use the Trailblazer. It adds performance to the Super Decathlon and dependability, and it's rugged.
Hartsell's been an excellent partner for Whip Air, just in terms of your product support as well as keeping an eye on the market and developing new products that meet demand.
It's helping us all have better performing airplanes.
It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
Looking for a new generation of proven and efficient aviation power plants that boast modern engineering, electronic ignition, and both direct and gear drive systems? With 100 horsepower to 240 horsepower, the Skyline and Redline engines offer uncommon value in an overpriced industry. Whether you are looking for fixed wing or rotor, MW Fly Americas has been established to service the American market with dedication and expertise. MWFlyAmericas.com.
Meet the first of a new generation of the M-Class family. The M700 Fury. An aircraft worthy of the name, an indomitable force. The M700 Fury transcends traditional limits with more power, blistering performance, a finely appointed interior, and the luxury of what matters most. Time. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.
Welcome back. AirVenture 2025 to spotlight flying for the greater good. In celebration of aviation's vast service to the public, EAA will use community benefit flying as a primary theme for AirVenture 2025. Aviation's life-saving impact has recently been showcased in a big way. Aerial operations were crucial in the Palisades Fire response, with hundreds of air tankers being deployed to drop water and fire retardant. After Hurricanes Helene and Milton swept the East Coast, volunteer pilots came to the rescue to evacuate people from flooded areas, deliver medical supplies and food to isolated communities, and even transport blood or tissue. AirVenture aims to spotlight the wide range of aircraft, crews, and organizations that have contributed to the greater good by supporting victims of natural disasters, war, famine, and other emergencies. Part of the humanitarian highlight will be making the U.S.'s last operational Douglas DC-872 Combi, owned by Samaritan's Purse, a focal point of the Boeing Plaza display throughout the week. The DC-8 joined the relief organization's fleet in 2015 and has since flown 192 missions and transported more than 8.2 million pounds of cargo. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.